Yeah, okay. So Kazuya says, with how limited the info that reviewers were able to talk about, okay, I like this. There's going to be nonstop gaming coverage on this on the 12th and 14th. I expect some serious volatility. Nice. And that's the thing from our perspective. I would that's upward volatility. Right? I mean, because it's a bullish thing that's happening for a company like GameStop, and I know people would say, well, this everyone's been saying this the whole time. Everyone knows the consoles are coming out. Everyone knows the consoles are coming out, right? That's true, but there's the question of whether or not it's adequately priced in for certain companies, most notably GameStop, and because of its heavy sentiment and so forth, I think not. And so something like that, even though people have known about it, they've just been discounting the business model for so long that if they catch up to it, I mean, I don't expect everyone to catch up to the story right off the bat. I don't mean that, but if you get a good chunk of people who finally realize, you know what I mean, what Steve Stonk's talking about in his gifs in the vid memes, you know what I mean. At the same time, these new consoles are coming out. You know what I mean? You can expect maybe the price to bounce on that, right? Because everyone's always talking about like whether something's bullish and bearish, but it's always in the context of where the price is trading relative to the expected free cash flows. And I think a lot of folks spend a lot of time arguing about other stuff. You know what I mean? Where at the end of the day, that's the variable that matters most, whether it's trading at a legitimate discount to fair value. Y'all know this. Okay. But that's a good point, Kazuya. I didn't know that either. I didn't know how limited they were so far to be talking about that. I wasn't aware. So, I mean, yeah, just another thing, even more talking. I mean, is that the case with every console cycle, you'd think? But all the info from reviews is genuine, extreme positivity. All right, that's good to hear. That's sick. Yeah, as we all know, it's going to be the biggest console release ever for these two consoles. It's going to be huge. And that's what I mean. It's terrific that a company like GameStop, who thrives in these early quarters and early years, industry-leading attachment rates and so forth. Oh, let me pull it up, kid. I mean, I feel like it's been a couple streams since I brought this up. I'll bring this shit up again. I actually want to bring this one up. You see this one? Let me bring this shit down. Now, look at this. Look at this. Okay, so this is what I was going to show right here. More games sold per console than any other retailer. Market-leading share of games during AAA release windows and for all products across each route. 22 billion in the last cycle. You know what I mean? 22 billion over the whole cycle, right? That's it's just huge. Preferred distributor for publishers and console makers, and some people will say, well, this is a bit backward looking, which is fine, but I just mean we're here, and a lot of this stuff I believe is still remains accurate in 2020. GameStop's accessory attach rate is significantly higher than the rest of the market. You know what I mean? Exclusive products and bundles, differentiated buy, sell, trade. Right, that's just their trade-in business, right? Market share leader in pre-orders. Distributed sales force, so you might you might have some folks who are trying to figure out which should they buy. I know a lot of people already have consoles, right? And if you're a hardcore gamer, this is ridiculous to even think about. But there are still people out there who'll be like, well, should I get the Xbox or should I get the PlayStation? In between of those, should I get the digital? Should I get the physical? You know what I mean? There's people to educate you on that stuff, and there are sales forces and other retailers as well, right? But GameStop is the go-to. That GameStop is the only one dedicated to gaming. I think a lot of folks might just naturally flock to a store like that, right? And we're here, and so GameStop is set up to succeed here. That's not to say it's all perfect roses, right? Like the announcement that they're not going to sell the consoles in store, or was that right? Did I hear that right? They're not going to sell the consoles in store on the day it's released. That's not great news, right? For a GameStop, it's always better to have the foot traffic in the store, right? But that's not like game-changing bearish news, right? It would be game-changing bearish news if GameStop couldn't remain open or whatever, right? And that's not even to say that the thesis wouldn't still be intact, because I think maybe they've built out their online business so much that they still might do okay. That's you know what I mean? That's a bit hairier, but like if it's one day or something, or even if it's a week or something, it's just not as big of a deal. But it's still all else equal. They don't. But that's the thing. If GameStop's a relative beneficiary of that relative to other retailers, I'm not so sure. The analysis gets tough.